Greetings, myself Kamali. I'm going to present the topic implementing and programming of I2C protocol. These are the contents we are going to see in this presentation. Introduction to I2C protocol. First of all, we have to know what is I2C protocol. I2C stands for Inter-Integrated Circuit, which is a synchronous protocol that allows a master device to initiate communication with the slave device. Then data is exchanged between these two devices. I2C operates only in off-duplex mode and uses only two wires, so it is also known as two-wired interface. And it is used most frequently for local communication within one embedded system. How I2C works? I2C protocol is a synchronous protocol, which is like CSI, in which a clock signal is sent along with a data signal. Only one device can be a master at a time, as it will generate the clock signal. The second wire in I2C provides data and addressing information and is used for both reception and transmission, since I2C provides half duplex mode operation. I2C communication protocols is intended to allow several devices to share a single bus. Among these devices, there may be over one master node and multiple slave nodes, or even multiple master nodes and multiple slave nodes. This block diagram of I2C protocol, which has masters and slaves, portrays how it works. The key features of I2C protocol. First one, half duplex communication protocol, which means bidirectional communication is possible but not simultaneously in I2C protocol. Then synchronous communication, which means the data is transferred in the form of frames or blocks. Then I2C can be configured in a multi-master configuration. Then clock stretching. The clock is stretched when the slave device is not ready to accept more data by holding the SCL line low. We will see about SCL line and SDA lines in the upcoming slides. Hence, disabling the master to raise the clock line. Master will not able to raise the clock line because their wires are unwired, and wait until the slave releases the SCL line to show it is ready to transfer next bit. Next, arbitration. I2C protocol supports multi-master bus system, but more than one bus cannot be used simultaneously. Then I2C protocol supports serial transmission and low speed communication. SDA and SCL lines. SDA is bidirectional, which stands for serial data line. SCL is unidirectional line, which stands for serial clock line. Any data sent from one device to another device goes on SDA line. In case of SCL, it is generated by the master device and controls when data is sent and when it is read. Each data bit transferred on SDA line is synchronized by a high to low pulse of each clock on the SCL line. Data transfer. I2C operates in two modes, which are master mode and slave mode. According to I2C protocols, the data line cannot change when the clock line is high, and it can change only when the clock line is low. The data is transmitted in the form of packets, which comprises 9 bits. The sequence of these bits are start condition with 1 bit, slave address with 8 bits, acknowledge with 1 bit. Start and stop condition. Begin with the start condition shown by a falling edge on SDA while SCL is high. End with a stop condition shown by a rising edge on SDA while SCL is high. Both SCL and SDA lines are high before a stop condition and start condition, which is the ideal state of the bus. Now we are going to see repeated start condition, which means between each start and stop condition pair, the bus is considered as busy and no master can take control of the bus. If the master tries to initiate a new transfer and does not want to release the bus before starting the new transfer, it issues a new start condition, which is called repeated start condition. The below picture portrays the repeated start condition. Addressing. In the I2C communication protocol, the data is transmitted in the form of packets. These packets are 9 bits long, out of which the first 8 bits are put in the SDA line and the 9th bit is reserved for acknowledgement. Acknowledge or not acknowledged by the receiver. A device can acknowledge a transfer of each byte by bringing the SDA line low during the 9th clock pulse of SCL. If the data frame is received successfully, then ACK bit is sent to the sender by the receiver. Address contains only 7 bits because the final bit of the byte, the LSB called read or write, shows whether master wishes to write subsequent bytes to the slave or read data back from it. If read or write bit is 0, means that the master will write data to the slave. If read or write bit is 1, means that the master would like to read data from the slave. Writing data to WPROM with I2C interface. To illustrate the concept, we will examine communication with WPROM memory device with an I2C interface. WPROM stands for Electrically Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory, which allows users to erase and reprogram stored data repeatedly in an application. After verifying that the data line is not in use, the master first generates a start condition. This is followed by transmitting the slave node device bus address and write bit. The slave transmits an ACK bit back to acknowledge that its own device address matches the one transmitted by the master. The master sends the upper byte of the memory address, which comprises bits A15 through A8, and the slave device signals an acknowledgement. The master sends the lower byte of the memory address, which comprises bits A7 through A0, and the slave device an acknowledgement. Then the master sends the data byte to write, and the slave device signals an acknowledgement. Then finally, the master generates a stop condition. The below picture picturizes the process of writing data to WPROM with I2C interface. Sequential read from WPROM with I2C interface. This process includes the steps which are first one, after verifying that the data line is not in use, the master first generates a start condition which is similar to the write process. This is followed by the transmitting the slave node address and the read. The slave transmits an ACK bit back to the acknowledge that its own device address matches the one transmitted by the master. The slave sends and read data byte from address N, and the master device signals an acknowledgement. The slave sends another read data byte from address N1, and the master signals an acknowledgement. The slave sends another read data byte which is address N2, which is from another address N2, and the master signals an acknowledgement. This will repeat until address NM will be reached by the slave. After that, the master does not signal an acknowledgement. The master then generates a stop condition. The below picture portrays the sequential read from WPROM with I2C interface. Advantages of I2C protocol. Flexibility, which means the I2C protocol supports multi-master, multi-slave communication. Addressing feature. Yet another advantage of the I2C protocol lies in its inherent ability to use chip addressing. It eliminates the necessity of CS lines, chip select lines. It means that you can easily add components to the bus without any complexity. Next, simplicity. I2C protocol doesn't complicate the design. It requires only 2 bidirectional signal lines to establish the communication among multiple devices. Further, the pin count is low as well. Next one is better error handling mechanism. To improve the error detection and correcting mechanism, the I2C protocol relies on ACK or NACK feature, which is robust error correction feature. Then, adaptable feature. The I2C protocol is adaptable in the sense that it can work well with both slow ICs and the fast ICs. Disadvantages of I2C protocol. First one is conflicts. Due to chip addressing, there is always a possibility of an address conflict. Slow speeds. I2C protocol uses pull-up resistors rather than push-pull ones used by its peers. Due to the open train design, the speed is limited. Requires more space. I2C protocol requires more space for its pull-up resistor. Applications of I2C protocol. It can read certain memory ICs, and it can access digital to analog converters and analog to digital converters, and it can transmit and control user directed actions, and it can read hardware sensor, and it can communicate with multiple microcontroller. And I2C protocol is the best choice for those applications that require less costly and easy implementation rather than high speed. Thank you.